Walk me through the argument that's like, hey, the Don Lemon argument, which is like, hey, this platform should be responsible for the information on it. And then walk me through the opposite. I know it's an eye roll, but just take me through the thinking for both of them. And if you could make your best argument for both.
I can steal man. I just don't want to call it the Don Lemon argument because I think Don Lemon is like a soulless demon. And who's just a very evil, malevolent person who's imminent homeless. In an irrational society, he'd be like living in fear for his life. So let's not call it the Don Lemon argument. Let's just call it the blue pill.
You're getting more texting the more I listen to you.
You better run, boy.
You're not in a position to make that.
Just fucking dig in the grave, dude. You gotta stand up for yourself, man.
You really got to.
I'm too much of a New Yorker now. I can't stand up for myself.
I listen to your rules.
That's so not
I got a booster.
I'll lock down. Okay, go.
So the argument is, it's a not complicated argument that crazy ideas are often attractive to people because they're innovative, you've never heard it before.
Yep.
And it's like smoking cigarettes in school. You want to be the ones like, look at me, I'm smoking cigarettes in school and getting away with it.
Yep.
So it can snowball and lead to crazy kind of consequences, which especially people who are marginalized in some way, they're the ones who are going to pay the price because they can't speak up for themselves, right? That's the not Don Lemon argument.
That is the argument for some form of censorship
Or some
on the
form of
platform.
consensus, right.
Right.
The other argument is, it's the person, and this isn't the argument that's popularly made, but it's the argument I would make. The smartest person on earth is going to be ignorant of 99% of knowledge.
Yep.
So even if you're brilliant, like I can be a very smart guy. If I go to a farm, that farmer, let's suppose there's a farm where the guy's really dumb, he's going to run circles around me about the farming and produce and all these other things. It's not even going to be a question, or any other circumstance where someone who may be not as bright as me can run circles around me in any field.
Yeah.
So when you have someone who's going to be the censor, how are they, like any filter, you want to keep out stuff that you don't want and allow stuff that goes in, but it's going to be really hard to set up that field to make sure what gets through is what should get through.
And how do you make sure those people aren't corrupt?
Right. So it's really this kind of very arrogant attitude that doesn't really work. And the other thing is, these people are like living in a world where the internet doesn't exist. Because if you just control like 4 or 5 outlets, you can't just censor the internet. Like if we could, we wouldn't have child porn. Like that's a really like obvious example. Like there's a complete consensus right until 5 minutes ago that child pornography is an abomination, we can't have it. But the FBI doesn't have, I think it's the FBI, CIA, whatever group it was, they don't have enough agents to fight babies. Videos of babies being assaulted. So this is, if you want to talk about free speech and like this is something we all agree on, or most of us, with the sane ones, and yet we can't. So they think they have a monopoly on the mic, and they don't.
So then, just so I can clarify, the argument is essentially it is impossible to properly police speech. Therefore, the better option is to not police it at all.
Well, especially when it comes to political discourse. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So then it's not really this argument of, or this discussion about.
Then I'm also going to say we got to try what we can to fight. I'm not saying we should have child porn. I'm just saying.
No.
I just want to be clear for everyone.
I didn't want to position in terms of child. I want to position more, because I think a lot of people obviously are looking at this as a binary.
Censorship's only good if it actually works.
And it's impossible to get it to work.
Right.
And because it's impossible to get it to work, the lesser of these two, and I don't even want to call them evil
situations.
The lesser of these two situations is a complete lack thereof.
Right. And that's even assuming that
I think that's a better argument, and I think that's way more digestible, because I think a lot of times the way it's positioned is this leads to all good and there are no problems with this at all. And then people start chipping away and go, hey, there are some problems.
People don't understand trade-offs in this country. But the other thing is, this is also assuming...
Is that an American cultural thing?
Yes. Just one more thing. People also assume... That's also what I just said, assumes that the people in power are genuinely good people who want everything well, as opposed to they should be hanging from lampposts. Can you look up the C.S. Lewis quote, C.S. Lewis conscience? If the worst thing about our government is that it's like people are getting bribes, we'd be in a utopia.
Really?
These people in power are so beyond depraved and exist on a level of evil that we can't wrap our heads around, that if it was just like someone's hiring their brother-in-law and getting a kickback, this would be fine. Can you read the quote? Like, I want to get it exactly right. Of all tyrannies, a tyranny exercised for the good of its victims may be the most oppressive. It may be better to live under robber barons, corrupt people, than under omnipotent moral busybodies. The robber baron's cruelty may sometimes sleep, but those who torment us for our own good will torment us without end, for they do so with the approval of their own conscience. So I don't think the people in government are corrupt. I think they are fundamentally evil and depraved. And it is one of the things I talk about in my book, The White Pill, is they were covering up genocides. And there's no question of like, let's suppose, God forbid, we did something where like millions of people died and we fucked it up. We would be like even if we're just chefs, we undercook a chicken, someone dies. For the rest of our lives, we'd be like, how did I fucking get this wrong? The next day, we got to sit down. This can never happen again. But there's never this thing of how do we fuck it up? They don't feel guilt. They don't feel remorse. They are fundamentally depraved. And I think part of the work I've been doing is people in America who are naive about the nature of evil, who think it's a guy with a mustache banging his fist on the table, when it's really that bureaucrat who won't give you medicine just because they have that little bit of power. They're starting to realize, oh, it's not just fucking Hunter Biden getting a fucking job. These people are fundamentally. Here's another.
And you think, sorry to interrupt, but you think it's because they've convinced themselves they're doing it for our own good. Vivek said this about the
managerial class.
The managerial class.
Yes, but here's another example. Like this. Let's talk about this, like the kitty stuff. I was thinking with like, okay, maybe it's like someone's got a crush on high school cheerleaders, and there's a conversation about the sexualization of teens in America. And then you see a CNN's producer was arrested because he was bragging on a message board, I'm not even talking about how this message board exists, about the infants he was assaulting. And it's like, guy, I tried to meet you halfway. But that is a level of evil that I don't think anyone in this room can wrap their heads around.
Yeah. Yeah, I think most of us assume it just doesn't exist.
Right. And it exists a lot. And I think these people do it just because they can. This Epstein Island shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Continue on this. This is actually really interesting. So you're saying that there's a group of people, and not a group of people that even know one another, but they all have that same lust for power, and they have the same sociopathy that allows them to have no guilt or remorse.
And they do evil because they can, and they enjoy getting off on it.
But is it pathological?
Yes. I don't think it can fix them.
Interesting. So meaning the doing evil, does it in some way bring them joy, or making the decisions?
It makes them feel powerful, and they are powerful because if I kill someone and I get away with it, I'm at a whole other level than normal people.
Can you give us names of people that you think would fall under this description that we would be aware of? Congress.
I think many people in Congress, but I mean, I think a lot of times Congress is just the public face, don't you?
I think most of them are, but I think that just because you're a public face doesn't mean that you don't have a lust for power.
I think
if you get into government, there is a lust for it.
I agree. I think if you look at powerful names in Hollywood, some of these rumors get through. You know, these names get named.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of these people's faces we wouldn't know. We wouldn't know. Like, I bet you, if they released Epstein's book, we wouldn't know half of these.
You're saying the
names.
true power brokers that we don't understand,
because there's the power of like, look, I'm a celebrity, I'm famous,
which is not what they're interested in.
Of course,
because it's not real power.
Right.
Does
anyone really think Biden's running the fucking federal government?
Who does run the federal government?
I don't fucking know.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Does anyone really think it's Biden? Like,
no.
I mean, no one thinks this with a straight face. So you could say Trump sucks. I want Biden. I want sanity in the White House, but he's not making these fucking decisions.
So
he's only deciding when to ring the bell when his diaper's full.
So again,
he's ringing it a lot.
I don't think anybody's making. Like, even when Trump was president, I think that there are a bunch of people that are assisting him in making the decisions. But I think that would be the same case for any business, right? You're going to have, a board of executives that are going to help you make these decisions, and ultimately you're going to have to make the fucking tough ones, and that is the responsibility of the president. I don't know if Biden is even doing it. Sure, he's a figurehead. Fine. The fact that we don't even know the people that are advising him is a little bit concerning, right?
I mean, would it make a difference if we did?
I think so. Because then
we could. What power do we have?
Well, it's not about power. It's about holding people accountable.
There's no accountability.
No. I'm saying us as voters.
Voters. Oh God, voters. Okay.
No. Listen. And some of this you have to submit to the illusion of the democracy, right? If
you can submit all you want.
No,
I'm the one getting the blowjob.
Not submit, meaning you have to take part in it. But in order to properly communicate with the people that are reading your books, they believe in a system, right? So you have to at least meet them halfway at the system they believe in before you can tell them, hey, all this shit is bullshit, right? The most effective communication.
Sure, yes.
Like
I get you talk in their house, not your house. Yes,
exactly,
correct.
Right? And then
100%.
once they understand your house, now you don't need to talk about their house at all. But you at least need to invite them in.
Yes.
So the idea for...
That's a great way to explain persuasion to people, yes.
So it's like...
Superb, yes.
So right now we have, for this Biden situation, I think the average person is probably the closest they've ever been. The average person that's in their house is the closest they've ever been to your house. Meaning they're knocking on the door going, wait, yeah...
I'll tell them in one sentence. We're not voting our way out of this.
What does that mean?
It means just think about it. Like if you think that this choice you make in November, like if you have to look at it really carefully.
Yeah.
And if you make that right choice, this problem is going to be resolved or even ameliorated. If you stop and think about it for 5 minutes, I don't think anyone who's quasi-rational with a straight face would be like, wait, that makes no sense.
But explain what you mean by
Meaning that if you have Biden again or if you have Trump.
We're in the same predicament.
Right.
So you don't see Trump as this great escape, this great rescue from...
We ran that experiment. Like, I don't understand. It's not like he wasn't president before.
So why do people see it as such?
Because they're told that there's this binary, right? And if you don't like this team, you gotta like the other one. Like people were told with a straight face that if you vote for Jill Stein, you're a Trump supporter, like Green Party people.
Yeah.
So, and you're, what's his name? Noam Chomsky, who's another anarchist who I'm waiting to die so I can climb the ladder and be.
Top anarchist?
No,
that's all that's
Russell Brand standing in my way. So it's Noam Chomsky, Russell, and then me. So at least I'm on the platform. Noam Chomsky has this whole point about the way to control a population is to have very intense debate, but within strictly delimited parameters, right? So if the answer is always going to be between like 5 and 6, and 1 through 5,
then
and
it
6 through
doesn't
10
matter
are
who
discussed.
wins.
Right.
Oh, it's genius.
Yeah.
So give us an example.
I'll give you one example.
Yeah,
Jimmy
give real
Dore,
world example.
who was a great guy, you got him on the show. I had him on my show. He goes, it's like you turn on CNN and the question is, do we bomb the fuck out of Syria or do we bomb the living fuck out of Syria?
Yeah.
And that's the range. Like The View, the Karen mothership.
That was Jimmy's example that he put together. That was
The Syria, but The View. Let me talk about The View.
Yeah.
The
I was
range
just going to give Jimmy credit.
Oh, Jimmy's great. Yeah.
he's
Jimmy's
brilliant.
amazing.
Yeah.
So on The View, Kurt Metzger, who I'm sure you're familiar with,
Kurt
is
is
the
the
best.
man, dude.
He goes, there's a reason it's not called The Views. The View is you have Whoopi and Joy, hard left on one side, and the closest thing you had to a Trump supporter was Meghan McCain, who denounced Trump at her dad's eulogy.
Yeah.
But that's, if you're watching this as a female, that's your range of acceptable opinion. So a way my friend put it was, CNN is what you're supposed to think and Fox is what you're allowed to think. But other than that, like that's your little box.
And labeling these other sides as extreme left or extreme right, is this all part of that?
Exactly, because that's the end of the box, right? You know where the borders are.
So what are some solutions? Because you sound very black pill.
No, it's white pill.
Yeah.
The first step is diagnosis, right? Once you realize a lot of this,
you can't start treatment for the cancer if you don't admit you have it.
Right. Yes, or recognize you have it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting. We're debating something in such close proximity that if there were a powers that be, they really wouldn't give a fuck which side it went to.
You guys know magicians, right? So the guy's dangling his keys here while he's picking your pocket. Oh my! Well, look at these keys.
Yeah.
So do we not have a civic duty to vote?